What's up, YouTube? This is PN Collector here. Sorry guys, I know it's been a really long time since I've even posted any videos. I think almost about 4 months right now. I know I got a lot of explaining to do on that, but I just want to let you guys know that I'm still here for you guys on the videos and things like that, and I haven't forgotten. It's just that the format's been kind of stale lately, and I've been kind of wanting to give you guys something new. But I mean, overall though, now it's been kind of getting interesting, and I can kind of show you guys a little bit more of an idea of what's going on. For one thing, good news is that I just made partnerships, so that means I pretty much can start doing more with my YouTube channel now that I actually became partnered. I mean, that was my goal originally, and for one thing, I want to thank you guys all a lot for that, and mainly a lot of it does go towards that. Because you guys are the ones that pretty much make it possible for me to make all these, different kind of decks and, to challenge myself and do more with it. But in spite of all that, though, guys, I kind of want to surprise you guys with a deck profile. I actually have quite a few coming up in this next 2 days. So first off, I want to check out with the deck that I played at Regionals. I went 7-0 with this, and then I lost the last 2 rounds to Offerings Gadget, and then the last round to Dragons. But that's mainly because they opened up really well compared to that. Overall, though, I played Tour Guide Agents for the event. The deck was really consistent, surprisingly. And I'll kind of give you guys a good overview of what I played. First, I played 1 Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning, Honest, Spirit Reaper, double Yugioh, 1 Effect Veiler, Gorse, 1 Archlord Christia, 3 Master Hyperions, 3 the Agent Creation Venus, 3 the Agent Mystery Earth, 3 Mystical Shine Balls, 3 Tour Guides, Sangan, and triple Max C. I played double Mystical Space Typhoon, Mind Control, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, Heavy Storm, Book of Moon, and the traps were 1 Torrential Tribute, 1 Trap Does Shoot, 2 Bottomless Trap Hole, 2 Solemn Warning, and 1 Dimensional Prison. Overall, the main deck was about 41 cards. I really liked how the deck played out. I mean, especially triple Max C. I thought at first it wasn't going to be that necessary, but against like the plant matchup and even against mirror match, this card was amazing. It pretty much saved my ass majority of the day, and it's really good in spite of it, because triple Max C may seem a little bit too much, but what the card really is meant to do, especially in triplicates, you use 1 as a mind game with your opponent. Especially against plants, I had a player go Scapegoats, and then he lone fired into Spore, and I chained the Max C, and he had to quit all of his plays for that entire turn. If not, I would have drew 4 to 5 cards. Not to mention, in my opinion, only play triple Max C if you have it in conjunction with double Yugioh, and especially Gorse. With those cards in hand, and then most people didn't even know that I ran them, it actually made the deck quite consistent, especially all the problems that they can run into if they're not prepared. I mean, even then, it's like if they try to synchro plays even with Trishula, Max C will pretty much save you for the most part. Not to mention, too, like, especially overall, like, compared to Effect Veiler, I like Effect Veiler and Max C, but for this event in particular, I was glad that triple Max C went through instead of the Effect Veiler, because there's times where I never really needed Veiler as much compared to Max C. Especially another thing to note too was with the Archlord Christia. Overall, I only ran 1 because I didn't prefer to have the 2. I had times when I would draw them and they'd kind of be dead for the most part. So what I decided to do is just run 1, just for the fact that I know that I can drop it. But in the end, out of all the cards, I probably would consider taking it out. I know it sounds kind of weird, but the deck doesn't essentially need to thrive on her. So since it doesn't use her as much, it's not exactly necessary. I mean, it's good for good pushes and the wins and things like that, but I already ran enough beat stick monsters as it is, over 8 stars already, and I kind of want to have a little bit more hand management. I mean, that's another reason why I put the Reaper over the second Christia. Surprisingly, I didn't get to use it all day until I played the Offering Gadget matchup, and we went into a game 3 because of this guy. And if it wasn't for him alone, I probably would have lost the game a lot faster. Basically, I had Decree and I had Spirit Reaper up, and there was no way he could get out of it, and he sat out his smashings for leechings. And the way that you're supposed to play agents, especially the way that I did it, was that you side out of anything that can really get Leeching the Light for a big push. Even like Master Hyperions, you're really only supposed to drop them when you're going for game. And any other deck that mains Leechings or sides into Leechings really can't do much towards you. I did run the traps for this event. Most people prefer, if you're going to play the Tech Genius or even just the Tour Guide engine, to not really run that many traps at all. I decided that I needed to have more backfield protection, because things like Thunder King, especially going against the mirror match like Christias or just bigger monsters they have, these actually help against those certain matchups, especially the warnings, and I especially love the D Prison, like all day I did. And, especially if whatever matchup you're playing against, worst comes to worst, you can side out most of it for good pushes on any of the other side deck cards you choose. Alright, on to the extra deck. I ran double Gachi Gachi, 1 Lavier, one number 17, one Armory Arm, one Cataster, one Magical Android, one Hyper Librarian, one Brio, one Ancient Sacred Wyvern, one Ancient Fairy Dragon, one Black Rose, one Stardust, one Scrap Dragon, and one Trishula. Pretty much I can say for the entire day I used every single one of these cards. Double Gachi Gachi, most people usually only run one, but two is actually quite really good in the main because you can use Earth and you can use the balls as well as combinations for number 2s to make him, so it's really good to have it in the deck. I was actually surprised that even at times when I used to have double Gachi Gachis, it was pretty threatening. And even worse is when you have a Gachi and you combine it with like a Tragiota, and you feel even more secure because I've had it where it was at 24 and then Gachi gave 400 more and it was 28. So that makes it really dominant to have it on there. Lavier, probably MVP of the day. Because of him, you make all the plays thanks to Tour Guide, and then combining with like Master Hyperion and Shine Balls, kind of gives you more shenanigans. It's a really good card. Number 17, just the beater to get over random things, helps out a lot. Armory Arm, just Armory Arm with any of the Shine Balls, and again, like I mentioned earlier with Shine Ball and Earth, works really well. Cataster as usual, and everything like Hyper Librarian, I really didn't make as much. Brio, I made one game. Ancient Sacred Wyvern, really good card for the deck. I played against Monarchs in round 2, and I won against them using this card because the difference between our life points was 4,100, so it gained the difference. So it's really good to have this card. And then Ancient Fairy was good against Dark World. It's mainly why. It's also light, so it really helps a lot with a lot of its filtering. Black Rose I made a few times. Trish especially too. This deck's really known for making Trishula. So overall though, the deck performed really well. Like I said, I pretty much played every single deck in the format, guys. There wasn't one that I didn't play. So if you're wondering how I did against this, how I did against this, it's mainly 50-50 against plants because it's just whoever draws more outs essentially. And I played 2 plant decks, and I beat both of them. And mainly, it's not just because of the main board, it's the sideboard especially. What really helps a lot is since you main Tour Guides, you main Veiler, you have Reaper, you have Gores, and if you don't, and you have the Maxis and Sangan, and of course, all your spell and traps are relatively similar towards a plant build, minus the 2 bottomless trap holes. Most of them thought I was playing plants, so when you surprise them with the surprise factor of Venus, Earth right away, there's very little they can capitalize on that because they've already wasted most of their key plays in other ways. So again, the sideboard especially has to be one of the best things, and even again, like the 2 Tragiotas actually is one of the biggest helps, especially to deal with Thunder King and any of your bad matchups. Again, I cannot much stress though, the sideboard especially is the key to actually doing really well with this deck. One card I can note from my sideboard that I love the most, like the entire weekend, was Debunk. That card single-handedly won me, I don't know how many games against plants. It's just, it handles too much, especially now if the Tengu goes to the graveyard, you can debunk it and negate and remove it from play. So, single-handedly, because of things like that and how versatile that card is as a sideboard card, I highly recommend using it, guys. I ran 2, and pretty much it does save you against a lot of bad scenarios. So overall, again, this was my regional deck profile that I played. Again, I apologize guys for the late videos, but I just wanted to make sure guys I'm still alive and I'm still going to give you guys good content. I also have a few other deck profiles up later today, so take note, and you guys just have a good one. This is PN Collector signing out.